All right, folks, welcome. It is Monday night. It is time for another live Q&A. And as always, leave your comments in the top chat here, and then we will filter it. Jason is in the back room. He'll go through the questions, give them to me, and then I will answer. And I'm going to say hi to a bunch of people. I see that Vic is in the house. He just commented. Let's go to the top. See a bunch of folks already in. Good stuff. James Cox is here. Jim Schlusserman. We have just Johnny, Drone Angles, Curtis Warren, Leo De Cordones, Thumb Drone, FTFO Media. Cajun Greenman is here. Gil, Dave DeVore, WT Drone. We have Drone Eagle. We have NKLOK. Wait. NKL OK Photo. I think that's how you say it. Bluegrass, STL Woodworker. We have Cajun Greenman. We have DD Frame. Flight Girl ATC Tracker. Awesome. We have The Vestidius. What else? Steve A. Fire Chief is here. Jillian, our own Jillian from the community. We have Cloud Camper. Steve A. I said that already. Who else? Mid-America Photo. Paul is here. Frankie, Sir Ian Moon is here. Captain Philip. Matt TH. We have Alpha Deja. Who else? Hockey Fan 124. I can't say that one. Some of the names are harder to say. And it just crawled on me. Texas Drone Company is here. This is our friend Jared. Vic is here. Night Flight. Who else? Bob Rock. Hike and Fly. Bunch of folks. Awesome. Well, welcome on board. And Secret Fader is here as well. All right. Well, we see a bunch of questions already. Trying to see what has happened since we talked last week. It got colder here in Prescott. We've been working on cool stuff. We've been working on Black Friday. We may or may not have a Black Friday sale being announced on Wednesday. Today's Monday, right? Wednesday? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we're not allowed to talk about it, and I'm talking about it. So maybe it's a really good deal. I mean, I know it's a really good deal for sure. So, Black Friday will go live. Don't wait until Black Friday to buy, because once the Black Friday sale goes live, it's the same until Cyber Monday. So, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, BFCM. We call it locally, internally. That's the internal code. What else? We have been... Jason, congratulations to Jason, who's in the back room. He is now thermography level 2 certified. Oh, we're talking about that too. Which is, well, yeah. Huh. We didn't last. Well, we can just say congratulations to Jason. He's level 2 thermography certified. So... okay, well, I think that's it. I'm going to get to some questions, and then we'll see what happens. Oh, first question is about the potential FCC action coming up. If the FCC bans next month is only going to prevent the approval of any new drone, I will still be able to buy a Mavic 4 Enterprise after December 23rd. That's correct. At the moment, the ban is to... the DJI would be added to the FCC entity list, which would mean that they're no longer able to get new drones approved going forward. NKL OK Photos says, no question, just wanted to let you know that I received my trophy for winning the drone photo contest for the second time in a row. Looks great. Congratulations. That's awesome. Two. That's kind of a record. 2 in a row. Two's the max. That's it. You're not allowed to participate. No, you can. Do you think that DJI could continue to produce Mavic 4 Matrice for 350, 400 if they are already approved by the FCC. Yep, that's the plan at the moment. That's what would happen if no investigation is done of DJI by December 23rd. They would be added to the entity list, which means that future models would not be able to be approved, which means that they could still sell current model. True or false? I don't see the Avata 360 on the FCC DOC list. Does that mean that it has not been approved and it must be in order for it to potentially be sold? Yeah. If I haven't looked at the FCC list, so I don't know if it is on there or not. Also, it can be tricky sometimes. They might get approved for something, but it doesn't necessarily show up as that specific name. So, yeah, I know people snoop around the FCC list and they're able to find some models sometimes, but just either sheer luck or really knowing what they're doing. But yeah. So if it's not on there, though, if you're correct that it's not on there, then yeah, it would not be able to be sold in the United States. But DJI still has another month and a half before December whatever to get that model approved. So we'll see. What are the things that you wish every beginner like me knew? Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. I wish people would understand that when they get a drone, they're not just getting a toy, they're getting an aircraft that flies in the airspace and shares the airspace with a lot of other people. So we often see people say, well, it's just a toy and I'm only going to be flying at 400 feet and there's nobody else there at 400 feet, even at 300 or at 200 feet, which is not correct. And so you have to understand that helicopters can fly at low altitude all the way to 50 feet above the ground. Helicopters can pretty much take off and land anywhere, and so there's a chance that you'll encounter a helicopter, and 99%, I don't know what the percentage comes up to, but all mid-air collisions that have happened between a drone and an aircraft have been with helicopters. All but one that I know of. Actually, all but two now, although one of them was in Canada, if I remember correctly. So, with that being said, you got to be careful with helicopters because everybody who hit a helicopter, when you read the NTSB report, they reported that they could not tell where the helicopter was coming from because the sound is weird. The sound bounces and you'll hear that something is coming, but you may not hear where it's coming from. And it might be too late by the time you see it. So yeah, that's the number one thing for me is making sure that we prevent collisions between manned aircraft and unmanned aircraft in the airspace, because the last thing that we need to see is for an aircraft coming down because we've injured the pilot by flying the drone through the windshield, or because whatever it is, whatever reason, that's going to look really bad on us as an industry. Hockey fan says, why is Brendan Carr so obsessed with going after DJI? It seems the blah, blah, blah. It seems what? That the FCC chair is obsessed with it. Yeah, well, follow the money, follow the connections, and then you get your answer, unfortunately. Nick Perry says, if I fart in front of the DJI Mavic 4 thermal camera, the important questions tonight, will it show a heat signature of the fart? Asking for a friend. And I hate to say it, but we have asked that question before and we have tested that hypothesis, and the answer is yes, it will. I mean, what's the first thing you do when you get a thermal camera? You fart in front of it, of course. And that's not a joke. Yes, it should. It will show.
What if you have a lighter?
Oh, well, if you have a lighter, it's definitely going to show. But I'm surprised you haven't tried that, Nick, just yet. So, all right, good stuff. You should make a short about that.
Done.
To find who's farting in the office. Hello from DJI. Hello from Texas, DJI. I don't know why I said DJI. hello from Texas. I ordered the Neo 2. I didn't realize the Neo 2 was available yet. It does not have remote ID. That's correct. What do you recommend for remote ID module? And do I need something for the controller too to show where I'm located? So all you need for the Neo 2, okay, so let's clear things up here. If you are a recreational user, then you don't need remote ID to fly recreationally with this drone because it's under 250 grams. Sorry, I had a brain freeze for a second here. If you are planning on flying this under Part 107, then you would need to have remote ID, in which case you would add a module on top of it. Doesn't matter which one, get the cheapest one you can find that is compliant. And you don't need to add anything to your controller because the location of the controller is not required. Excuse me. It's not required when you wow, man. Whew. I'm reading the comments at the same time as I'm reading the question, and I'm trying to process my answer. That's why I'm being slow. And there's a lot of fart questions discussion in the comments, so it's very disrupting. But anyway, you don't need to put anything on the controller because the location of the pilot is not required when using a module. That's only required when using standard remote ID. Okay, I'm going to stop reading the comments. I'm just going to read what Jason is telling me. I like to kind of go between the two, seeing what people are saying in the comment and seeing people what's in here. But I know that you have answered this prior. I'm just so careful with the placement of the LED arc light on my Mavic 4 Pro. It should be placed on the back of the unit where it says DJI logo to avoid the sensors. I would put it on top of the drone, towards the back, on top of where the battery goes into, on top of the battery location. So yeah, that's definitely where I would put it. Next, Texas drone, Texas bands. I guess there's a lot of fun stuff going on in the chat. Okay, Texas bans drone. Okay, one more time. Sorry, I traveled late yesterday and I am not at 100% today. Texas bans drone gear recovery, citing federal rules, but federal laws only ban take and harass. Okay, recovery isn't that. How do I bring that up with the TPWD? I don't know what TP Texas something ward something. Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm sure they have a page to contact them, but yeah, I don't think it's a federal rule because I'm pretty sure it's all based on the state, if I understand this rule correctly. I'm not my area of expertise, but we've had enough questions about this. So yeah, I would see if they have a contact page on there to contact them and ask more questions about it and see what's going on there. Flight Girl ATC Tracker says, hey, Mr. Greg, we should do student pilot gathering on Zoom. It would be so cool talking and teaching students what this is about. Yeah, we do have something like this. So Tom has office hours every once in a while that you can join in the private community. And that's where we answer questions for people. This is from Teddy. This seems pretty likely of a full ban given security concerns, seeing how drones are used for warfare overseas. It seems like admin is being proactive. Do you see amendment like the second for drones? No, we're not there. There's, I mean, guns are being used for warfare overseas and they're not banned. I agree that we have an amendment for it, but there are other countries that don't have amendments that are still using guns, or allowing guns. I mean, knives are used for bad things, and so no, I don't foresee that drones are going to be fully banned because of security concern. Cars can be loaded with explosive and have been in the past. Airplanes have been loaded with explosive and have been in the past. And 9/11 happened, and we're not forbidding people from using airplane. So no, I don't see that happening at all. Does old DJI drone, old and new, will soon not be able to fly in the United States? Nope. There's no plan for that. So, no, that's a no. How will we know when or if the security audit is being done on DJI drones? I don't think you will know if they're working on it. You will know if it has been completed, but that's about it. Let's talk about DARPA Heavy Lift Bro. Is that the name of the aircraft? The Heavy Lift Bro? Or Heavy Lift, comma, Bro? I don't know. I haven't seen. Well, I think maybe we talked about the DARPA Heavy Lift not too long ago. Yeah, it's cool. It's big. What else? Is the Border Patrol still not releasing DJI drones? CBP, yes, is still blocking DJI drones from entering in the United States when they're coming from China. So what happens typically is that drones are being imported from different countries. That's how you have the gray market. That's how you see a Mini 5 Pro, for example, in the United States. But yeah, if they're coming directly from DJI and from China, they are being blocked. What entities will be banned from flying DJI product when the ban goes into effect? Okay, so we have to understand that there is no ban of DJI drone coming up. It's not the right word, okay? The right word is that DJI is going to be added to the FCC entity list. When you're on that list, you cannot get models of whatever you're selling approved by the FCC, which means that these drones are no longer able to be operated in the United States and sold. So that's what's potentially coming for DJI, but there's no banning on flying DJI drones in the United States. Okay? I want to make that clear. And it's not Border Patrol, by the way. It's CBP, Custom Border Patrol. Do you know of a helicopter that follows light aircraft regulations? Oh, interesting. So the FAA just released a bunch of stuff about in Mosaic. Now, helicopter is not my area of expertise by any means, but from what I've read and from what I've seen in the regulation and the recent changes that were updated on the FAA website, there is a pathway now to get a helicopter approved under light sport regulation. I don't think it's fully in effect just yet because somebody is going to need to get approved for that. But yes, I think that's coming up as one of the options. Can you bring new DJI drone models from outside the US and fly them? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. DJI drones are not banned in the United States. Let's be clear on that. DJI drones are not banned in the United States. And even after December 23rd, with what is currently being proposed, DJI drones would not be banned from flying in the United States. New models would not be approved and would not be able to be sold in the United States. Okay? Let's be clear. Question on me, 107 licensed, doing a film from my drone for my niece's husband business. Is there any issues with him to use on his website? Nope. If you're Part 107 certified, you are good to go. Any thoughts on the SenseFly EB Vision UAS, a drone costing $60,000 more with great features? I mean, yeah, the EB is cool. We've covered it before. I think there was a news update that we talked about. But it's a very specific drone, specific in the way that it's going to be used. It's going to get used for mapping missions. I would definitely also look at other options in that space. The Wingtra is another one. Wingtra just released a new model, the Ray. So I would look at that and see which one works best for you. But it's going to be a very specific application for this. I was denied a waiver to fly a Mini 3 with prop guards collision light. I gave the weight of all, and I was over 250. It was 295. Yeah, there should. So I'm guessing you're trying to fly over people, maybe. What did they say that they wanted because you got denied? You have to give them a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that you make your case that you can fly safely. So, yeah, Wayne or what? I would see what they told you, why you get denied, and I would make sure that all of your details of what you gave them is correct or is detailed enough. Understand you cannot fly from and to national parks. Does this apply to national forests? Nope, national forests are open to fly, so that's not an issue. Excuse me. Yep, not the same as national parks. How about indoor flight through for property listing videos? Yeah, some people do that. You got to be pretty smooth. You got to make sure your flight path, looks good when you do that. But yeah, people absolutely do that. Make sure you do it with a drone that's small enough to not be able to cause damage. Prop guards, probably a requirement. Keep in mind that when the drone is in close proximity to other objects, it might create a lot of downwash, which means that makes the drone harder to fly. But yeah. I know 3 friends that have their Part 107 certificate, and the one that also has a student pilot certificate shows up with a search of the FAA Airman lookup page. Any idea why or why not? I have 3 friends, only the one. So it depends on when they get their certificate, but it takes a while to show up on the FAA pilot database. You have to be issued a final number for them because they already had a certificate. That's probably why they're already showing up in there. But yes, there's a certain period of time before you end up being on there. What else? Has anyone tried using the DJI Mavic 3 Pro to hang Christmas lights on a tall tree outside? Yes, we have seen videos of this before. Make sure you know what you're doing. Also, make sure that if you hook anything to the Mavic 3, that it's not too heavy, that you turn off the obstacle avoidance sensors at the bottom of the drone, and make sure that you're using some kind of a hook that kind of hangs underneath the drone, not just attaching the light to the drone, and make sure you have a way to drop the light when you're done with it. It's one thing to, maybe catch the rope and then go around like this. Also keep in mind that ropes eventually get pretty heavy, especially if you're going to fly higher up, because it's the entire weight of all the lights and the light bulbs and everything that gets added after a while. So think about this rope the garland, the light itself. When you lift up the whole thing, is this something that's too heavy for the drone to pull up? Not just the end of the rope, if that makes any sense. Are there solutions available, including building your own as needed for remote ID receivers so that we can build software to receive input from local remote ID transmitting drones? Okay, I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to do here, including building your own for remote ID receivers so we can build software to receive. I mean, there are solutions already that exist out there where you can build a little Arduino receiver for remote ID stuff. So you'd be able to receive the remote ID information from local drones. Is that what you're trying to do? If so, it exists, and it's not a difficult do-it-yourself kind of project. So. What do you think about dirt, says Jared. I don't know what dirt is. I mean, I know what dirt is, but I don't know what all caps dirt is.
Joe Dirt?
Huh?
Joe Dirt?
Joe Dirt?
Dirt, the video game, the racing game?
I doubt Jared is asking me about a racing game, but gotta be more specific, buddy. It's probably a mapping thing that he's waiting for me to say, I don't know, so he can explain it. I know you, Jared. What do you think about the Skydio R10? So I'm pretty sure, oops, what did I just do? Shit. Skydio R10 is the new one. Let me look at, that's the Tide one. Okay. I know they just released 2 new models, and of course, They're not super creative with their names. So it's the X10, the R10, and whatever the other one is. And I don't know what the R stands for. So, but R10, I mean, seems to be a cool product. Obviously, a copy of the Avata that has been so successful with public safety agencies, with being able to go in confined environment. They added lights, which the Avata doesn't have natively, and then they added I don't know what else they added, but it seems a little bulkier from the pictures that I've seen than the Avata, but maybe not. I'm looking at their webpage right now. It's about 10 inches wide, 10 by 10, it looks like almost. And yeah, it's cool. It's a cool concept. Again, nothing really new that we haven't seen before with the Avata. This is for agencies that are not allowed to use DJI products, so they made an option that is available. I'm not a big fan of the price. I think it was kind of touted as being very affordable. I disagree with that. I think when you see what the cost of an Avata is, you could buy 6 or 7 of those before you can buy one of these. And then there's a bit of a subscription model where if you break it, you get a new one, which I think is cool. That's a cool option. We've seen other companies do that. But yeah, that's kind of my thought. We haven't flown one, but I'm expecting it to fly very much like a little Avata would. I'm taking, so 7476, okay, says, if I'm taking off from a 50-foot length maximum altitude authorization and I fly into a 100-foot maximum altitude, can I go up to 100 feet, even though my authorization was for 50 feet? Yeah, so this is a tough one. In this case, I would get 2 different authorization. I would get one to fly 100 in the 100-foot grid. I would get one to fly 50 in the 50-foot grid. But technically, no. If you're only authorized to fly 50 for that mission, in that length authorization, you can only fly up to 50, even if you get to an area that has 100. So yeah, that's why I would do 2 different ones. They're free, doesn't really cost you anything other than a few more minutes to kind of map out your whole thing. If you try to get a 100-foot authorization in the combined zone, one that has 50 and 100, then it's going to have to be approved because they're going to think that you want to fly at 100 feet in a 50-foot zone, which needs further coordination. So yeah, I would just do 2 of them. I've done that before. Any chance the Matrice 400 plus L3 gets caught in the FCC retroactive restriction? I don't see why. This is a discussion that I had last week, I think. You got to think about the FCC retroactively banning models, existing models of certain models of whatever it is, drones, or this is really only been put in place because of Huawei, which is a telecom company that has been caught with their hands in the cookie jar, and the FCC is trying to prevent them from selling their devices. Could the FCC go back and try to ban current models? Yes, they could, but it would be a PR nightmare for them to do this, and they would certainly have to show some proof of what, why they want to do this. Although I guess they don't have to show proof, but again, it would be a PR nightmare. And at the moment, there's no reason. DJI has not been caught doing anything bad. And so that's why people want an audit, right? I had a situation on October 30th when the chopper came down to 100 feet AGL in a Class B airspace. I had clearance approval to fly. They were just checking on what I was doing. Well, yeah, that sucks. But as always, manned aircraft have priority over UAS operations. So that's why we keep visual line of sight. And that's why we make sure that we stay away from helicopters when we see them. AG is massively underserved in my area, agriculture, I'm guessing. So I'm willing to get a Matrice 350 beyond spraying. Yeah, you're not going to be able to spray very much with a Matrice 350. Beyond spraying, what ag opportunity are good for a beginner? Just map doesn't appear to be enough. I mean, so here's my recommendation. If you want to get into agricultural stuff, research, study as much as you can if you don't already have a background. This is a vertical of the industry where people have been doing this for a long time, right? Folks that are in the that are farmers, that are in the agricultural world, that this is their life. This is what they've done. So when you go and provide your services, you're going to want to talk the same lingo. You're going to want to talk the same language as them. You want to understand their needs. You want to understand how they're currently doing something. A business is solving a problem. And so when you go in business in the ag world, what problem are you solving? What are you providing to your customer? How they're doing it right now? How is it easier if you do it? How is it cheaper if you do it? How is it better quality if you do it? So you have to really get immersed into that world. So when somebody tells me I'm a beginner and I want to get into ag, my first thing, ag or fill in the blank, I'm a beginner and I want to get into this with drones. Get educated, get the education, talk to people, talk to friends that you have that are farmers, just go visit a farm and see how they do things. You have to really get that background. Do you think DJI models already in production can still be produced? Yes. Like the Air 3S? Yes. Can still be manufactured for selling in the United States? Yes. Yes and yes. There's no limitation on any of that at the moment. If I have a Part 97 radio license from the FCC, can I fly any equipment that the FCC does not approve? I don't know what Part 97 is. I would have to look back. But in order to fly a DJI drone that the FCC has not approved, you would have to have permission to use the 2.4, 5.8 gig airwaves. And I'm pretty sure Part 97 doesn't yet allow you to do this. If it's a radio license, like I think it is from the FCC, I'm pretty sure it's limited to only recreational usage, so no commercial usage. But you would have to be approved, and I'm pretty sure those bands are not ones that fall under radio license, because it would mean you could use them for radio purposes, and I don't think people do that. Again, not 100% my area of expertise. I have enough knowledge to be dangerous with this, but I would check. I would look at Part 97 and what it allows you to do, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. So where are we at here? I lost the chat. There it is. Next. Besides actually flying a fixed-wing aircraft, how much more training do you need after completing the Part 107? Or is this like comparing apples to oranges? Besides actually a fixed-wing aircraft, how much training do you need? I'm confused about the question. Are you asking what it takes to become a private pilot besides the actual manned aircraft training? If that's your question, you need the private pilot training consists of two things: ground training and flight training. The flight training you would do at a flight school, the ground training we can provide. The comparison between the ground training from Part 107 to private pilot, it's about 2.5 times more knowledge, more in-depth knowledge about procedures, about airspace, about everything. If you have a 107, it's a good start. It will be a good foundation that you can use to build onto it. But it is definitely going to take more in-depth knowledge. And then, of course, all the flight training, as you mentioned. I wanted to buy a backup Mavic 3 drone for my real estate work, but have held off due to the uncertainty. It sounds like it's safe to proceed. I mean, that's really up to you. You have to make the decision as to what you think the FCC might do. I'll tell you what I'm doing. We're buying DJI drones still, and we'll continue until somebody says that it's 100% illegal to do so. But in the meantime, I refuse to fall for the fear mongering. Yeah, that's going on. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Will Autel have the same issue as DJI in December? Yes, absolutely. DJI and Autel both are named into the NDAA, the 2025 NDAA language. So both of them would be added to the FCC list. Will I be able to buy the anti-gravity A1 if DJI and Chinese manufacturers get banned? Okay, again, there's no ban. There's no proposed full ban on any brand. At the moment, DJI and Autel would be added to the FCC list. No other Chinese manufacturer would be added. So that's where we are. So yes, the anti-gravity would be up for grabs. Does the DJI Mini 5 Pro automatically broadcast remote ID when using the Plus battery? Yes, it does. That puts it over 250 grams. If not, is there a setting to turn remote ID off or on? You cannot turn on or off remote ID on any drones. It's not allowed per US regulation. In the United States, DJI has told us that the Mini 5 Pro broadcasts remote ID at all times, regardless of the battery, because the drone is actually over the limit, over the 249 gram limit. So as such, it is required to broadcast remote ID. So yeah, there you have it. And this is from DJI. We got this information from DJI. Is there a review video for us to view before taking recertification tests? No, the currency test, as it's called, ALC 677 on FAAsafety.gov, does not have any video format, and you just watch the course, take the test, and then you're good to go. And it's free, and it you can't really fail it. So easy. Just got my DJI Mini 5 Pro in the United States. Is it legal to fly if it weighs more than 249 grams? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to register it. That's the only thing. It has to be registered. FAA drone zone, $5 for 3 years. How old do you have to be to have your own pilot license? The answer is 17 years old. So in the United States, it's 16 years old to do your first solo, 17 years old to get the certificate. I own property with real thick wood. I fly the DJI Neo using goggles. I fly through the trees, above all of the underbrush, and right above the trees at times. Illegal because a spotter can't see it. I mean, yes, technically. So you cannot fly beyond visual line of sight. You cannot fly with FPV goggles without a spotter. I'm giving you the official rules, okay? Giving you the official rule. No personal feeling about the rules. The official rules is if you fly with FPV goggles, you need to have a visual observer with you, co-located next to you, and you must maintain visual line of sight, and your visual observer must maintain visual line of sight with the drone. So flying above trees, making the drone disappear behind trees, technically not legal. Again, this is the official regulation. You do with it what you want. I'm planning on enrolling in the Pilot Institute 107 course. How much time would I expect to work with the course before scheduling my 107 exam? So the course is 15 hours long. We recommend that you work an hour to 2 hours a day. You could do it in 2 weeks, although that's kind of like the crash course, the fast way. If you take a little bit more time to learn the knowledge, which we recommend, probably 3 weeks. But think about 15 hours of content, taking the quizzes, reviewing the content, maybe rewatching a couple of videos. So you're probably in for 25, 30 hours total. So think about that. How much time do you need to do that? You don't have to post this, too late. But I'm going to ask a question. If I run anti-collision lights on the River the River X1. Man, I hate when people, I'm sorry, this is not personal. I hate when people dictate questions and texts. I had an issue today with a student doing this. I cannot understand what the freaking thing said because there's no punctuation. I think this is a case of this. Please don't dictate. And if you do dictate, please review so that, I don't know. The River X1, I'm guessing this is a drone. Do I need to recalibrate the drone when I fly without the light on it? No, you don't need to recalibrate. You don't need to recalibrate. Do you collect police patches? Yeah, we do actually. The drone unit I helped started. We have a custom patch, and wondering if you would like one. Oh, we would love that. We have a box where we put them on display. Yes, we would love that. That would be awesome. Why does everyone... Oh. I'm going to make a new rule. If you're writing like you texting, I'm not going to read your question. Why does everyone want a drone that's way under 250 grams? I think most people are interested in a drone under 250 because it doesn't need registration. But keeping in mind that you need to have, you need to follow all the rules, regardless of the weight of the aircraft in the United States. Okay, but yeah, it would save you from having remote ID, and it would save you from having a registration. I live in a 0-foot zone. That sucks. Is there any way I can legally fly at all? Yes, there is. I want to use the Mini 5 Pro to record dog playgroup at the park under 20 feet. Yeah, you can get approval, especially if you're going to fly at 20 feet. I would request 50 feet. I mean, depending on how close you are to the airport. A zero grid zone means you're probably close to an airport, in which case, yeah, you're going to have to submit a request to fly. You can do this on the drone zone. And when you do, I would make a case that you're only going to be flying at 50 feet. You're going to keep an eye on traffic, blah, 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 and then you'll be good. Thoughts on the UPS MD-11 crash a couple weeks ago? So I don't like talking about crashes publicly before I see an NTSB initial report. I think it's, especially when people have died, which unfortunately quite a few people have died in this crash, I think it's disrespectful to speculate on what could have happened unless you were in the cockpit at the time. That's a tough one. So it seems to me like there was a mechanical issue with the aircraft and losing an engine, and sounds like there was not much that the crew could have done. But beyond that, that's all I'm going to say about this. My sympathy to the families. This is difficult when you if you spend enough time in aviation. Unfortunately, you're around people that don't make it, and having gone through this personally, we lost an aircraft at the flight school where I was at, and seeing everybody speculate about it, it's not something that I like to do. Let's put it this way. So I'll leave it up to the folks that enjoy doing that, but I don't. Yep. Dutch 1982 says, did you fly the Dassault Mirage? Oh, that would be cool. No, but I have cool stories about the Mirage because I grew up in France, and I grew up really close to a military base, which my dad worked at. And so I've seen plenty of Mirage 2000 up close. And I had posters of the Mirage 2000 on my walls as a kid. So I've seen them flying around my house where I grew up pretty much every day. You'd see them flying at very low altitude, sometimes even breaking the speed of sound because that was allowed for some reason. So you'd hear the window shaking every once in a while. And I remember going to my dad's work on Wednesdays when I don't know how old I was, but probably 9-10 years old. We didn't have class on Wednesdays, so I would go with him, and I would go to the daycare on base, and then we would have to stop on the taxiway to get to his office to let the Mirage 2000 go by. And that was always a cool thing. This is not many people know this. I don't talk about it, but this is what I wanted to do when I was a kid, when I was in high school. I almost went into the military to fly Mirage 2000s. So, but instead I got here. All right. Wow. All the questions. We have 15 minutes to go. Put your questions in the comments. What else do we got? Let me see if I can see a couple people. How do I get my private pilot license? So we have a course I would recommend you take. I don't know where Jason went. Okay, anyways. We have a course on our platform that's free. That's the ultimate guide to becoming a pilot. I would recommend taking that because I kind of answer. It's like a giant Q&A of all the questions we've had over the years, and it's available for free. So I would go and take a look at that. It's multiple steps, but essentially, get ground training, get flight training, get trained, and then go do the exam. It sounds simple, but it takes a while. What else? Yep, somebody says take the course. Okay, I see more questions. I have an Autel 640T. Sweet. The screen on my controller started glitching. What can I do about this? Can you help? Ooh, yeah. I don't know that we can help, unfortunately, but this is a tough one. You can try to get service from Autel. I like Autel as a brand, but unfortunately, customer service hasn't been their forte in the last couple of years. But I would still try that. Give them a chance, of course, and see what they say. Past that, make sure that the firmware is up to date. That's all I can say. That the drone firmware is up to date. I don't know how many updates they've done on those, but maybe try to find a new controller online. I don't know. Glitching is wide, can be a lot of different things. Go on forums and see if people have the same issue and see if you can get it solved that way. Yeah, those are all recommendations. Thoughts on using drones for solar panel cleaning? Yeah, people do that. There's a couple solutions. Talked to a guy in Las Vegas at Commercial UAV Expo. I thought that was really interesting. He had a device, not a drone, that was used to clean solar panels. And it was fairly heavy. I think it was maybe 50 pounds, if I remember correctly. And he wanted to use drones to carry the device up on the roof to where they were going to manually put it on the solar panel and then clean the solar panels. But yeah, he wanted to use the drone to take the device all the way to the top, which was a lot easier than getting on a ladder and carrying this 50-pound object all the way up. So that was cool. As far as otherwise, yeah, they have pressure washer drones. They have drones that can, I don't know the process of cleaning solar panels, although I should because I have them on my house. But I typically just go with a broom. Don't tell my provider because I'm not supposed to touch them. But I just go with the broom to clean them usually, or wait for a good rain. I don't know what it takes other than, water to remove the dust, but I live in a dusty area. That's really all that gets on the solar panels. But yeah, anyways, yeah, you can. There's no reason why you can't. What are some other good aviation channels? Well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't know. It depends on what you're interested in. I don't know that I follow. It's weird because my feed on YouTube is everything except aviation because I don't like watching other people talk about aviation.
Pilot Institute Airplane is pretty good.
Oh yeah, Pilot Institute Airplane is pretty good. You're right. We do have an airplane channel as well. And then Pilot Institute Helicopter coming up soon is also going to be very good. Do you have any thoughts or advice regarding the use of third-party apps for DJI drones flight management? I hear about Litchi, Pix4D, and other apps that some use. Yeah, they're definitely available. I used Litchi for many, many years when it was cool. I mean, not that it's not cool anymore, but I think it's harder for them now to control certain drones because of the unavailability of SDK packages for controlling these drones. But Pix4D, obviously, great platform if you have it. We are working actually we're a Pix4D certified training platform now, so we're able to provide training for people on Pix4D in person and online as well. So that's another great platform if you're doing mapping. And then you can use Aloft. Aloft has a way to connect to the drone and to fly it from their app. So yeah, they're definitely available. Pros and cons. I've never had issues with the DJI drone app, so I don't really see a need to switch unless I'm doing something specific like Pix4D, which is going to control the drone in a manner that's not really done from the DJI app. So it adds additional features that DJI does not have. Yep. Yeah, Captain's gonna teach stuff. Captain's gonna teach. That's a great name. Says PI helicopter. Absolutely, that's coming soon. We're posting. We're gonna have a helicopter private pilot course that we've been working on for 10 years. Feels like 10 years. It's beautiful though. The animations are really cool. We're in the final phase. We've got 4 chapters finished out of 20, but it's not really 20. Out of 8, maybe. I think we have 4 more chapters or 5 more chapters, which have already been worked on. So anyways, we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. I'm hoping Q1 of next year is when we're going to release all that. Something is going on with my computer. The fan is turned on. The fan is never on this computer. So next, any way to have FPV goggles talk to the DJI Mavic 4 Pro or the Mini 3? Mavic 4 Pro, pretty sure that's a no. I never remember. I'm sorry. The goggles and the controller compatibility with different devices, there's just no way to memorize it. So we have an article somewhere. I don't know if Jason can link to it. I don't know if we have the Mavic 4 Pro updated on that article, but it kind of shows you what's compatible with what, because we talked to DJI about this one time at a trade show. We have a couple contacts at DJI, and I said, what the heck is going on with these controllers? And these were salespeople, and they said, don't tell me. They're like, I hate it too. We don't know what's going on with the engineering team with this, but yeah, they were as disappointed as we are with the lack of standardization and compatibility of devices. What would have been your call sign if you were a fighter pilot, and did you enjoy Top Gun Maverick? I don't know what my call sign would have been. It's a good question. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT. Give me a, and then Top Gun, both of them really cool. Yeah, I mean that was my jam. I literally had fighter jets all over my walls as a kid. Not even just fighter jets, just aircraft all over my walls, posters everywhere. Cacao. Oh, cacao. Yeah, I like that. I tend to like chocolate, so cacao is probably 99%. 99% would probably be my call sign. Okay. Jared says bye. Bye, Jared. Have some dinner for us. I am new. Okay, this is Gear Buyer's Guide. Says, I am new to my Part 107, Class C cautionary airspace near Davis Air Force Base. Does Lance inactive mean that I cannot get any authorization to fly there? So Lance inactive means that you cannot get immediate authorization to fly in that area. If you look at the UAS facility map and you go to that area, you'll be able to see that there's a grid still. That grid is going to be red in the UAS facility map. It means that you would, yeah, Tom is going to get punched. It means that you would have to get authorization through the FAA drone zone to fly in that area. The good news is if you live there, you can get a wide area authorization to fly below the grid numbers in your area without having to request every single time. Yeah, I'm saying Tom is going to get punched because he says Greg would be Hershey 1. For the joke, it's an internal joke. Tom is our CFI and staff in charge of the airplane program, and he likes Hershey's for some reason, and I don't believe Hershey's is chocolate, so we have this debate every time. Anyways, talk about DJI ban. There's no DJI ban. Where is the FTC in this situation? What does the FTC have to do anything with this? I don't think the FTC, I don't know why they would get involved. That's usually for trades, like stock market trades. Yeah, I don't think they would have anything to do with this, unless I'm missing something in here. Another question, but I submitted a waiver request to the FAA during the shutdown, and it showed under review even during the shutdown. Apparently they were working. Yep, that office was apparently working. PI helicopter, we answered that already. Oh man, shit, we have 5 minutes left. Woo whoop. When setting up waypoints on the Mini 4 Pro, is there a way to adjust the speed? I don't remember. That would be a question for Jason. If you don't see it in the settings, then probably not. But I don't remember all the. I remember in the enterprise model, but I don't remember. I don't even think I've played with the waypoints in the Mini 4. Where can I find the remote ID number on my DJI Mini 5 Pro so I can register it? It would be in the About section. So you have to power the drone on, go to the About section, scroll, and then there's a whole bunch of serial numbers in there. I think it starts with 1571 Foxtrot or some. It's a 4-digit plus a letter. That's the beginning of the thing. And it says typically remote ID number, remote ID something. If not, you're going to use the aircraft ID. It's a pretty long number. Again, starts with 15 something, and it would be in there. I just graduated with a bachelor's in unmanned aircraft operation. Do you have any advice for someone starting their career in the UAS industry right now? Yeah, it depends on what you're interested in doing. So, your bachelor's is a license to be dangerous, very much like a Part 107 certificate. You've hopefully acquired a variety of different skills during your classes. So I would highlight those skills on your resume, on your CV, and go to places that you're interested in. Like, there's so many things you can do with drones these days that it depends on where you want to go. But when you apply for a job, tell them about the things that you've learned. I've learned to use Pix4D. I've learned to build drones. I've built this drone and it did this. Or all of these things that you've done in class. Make sure that you highlight those. 1581 Foxtrot. Is that what I said? I'm pretty close. I think that's what I said. Thank you, Vic. Random numbers that I remember. Did you review the Mini 5 Pro yet? We are in the process of doing that. So stand by. Yeah, we thought we were going to have all this time in October, November, December because we weren't traveling. And then all this time turned into working on a ton of projects. And for me, I've been really busy on the airplane side of things of the business lately. And Jason has been really busy on the drone side of things, amongst other things. So all the drone reviews have been kind of put on the back burner. But yeah, we're working on the Mini 5 Pro right now. There's a deep dive coming up. How often do I need to renew my 107 certificate with the FAA? That would be every 24 calendar months, so every 2 years-ish. Is the Mini 5 Pro going to need registration, being that it's a few grams over 250? Yep, absolutely. It is. Okay. Wow, that's all the questions. What else do we have? It's 3 minutes to go. I might actually just end it here since we are done with the questions. We'll be back on Friday for news updates, and my battery is getting low as well. I'm going to find out why my computer is hot. It's probably that spreadsheet I've been working on. And then, we'll see you again next Monday. Keep an eye on emails. We're going to be sending an email later this week with some Black Friday goodies. And then, that's all I got for you. So we'll see you Friday. We'll see you with the happy hour. I think this Wednesday, if you're in the community, we have happy hour coming this Wednesday. And then we'll see you then. Cheers. Peace. Yeah.